This is Hard Facts.
This is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Facts Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
This is Nigeria Info.
You get a chance to share those very lofty and interesting opinions or ideas you have about the topic we'll be talking about at that time. And to join the conversation, we're live right now on YouTube and Facebook, so you can, of course, be certain that I'll be reading your comments if you drop them in good time. The YouTube handle is at Nigeria Info ABJ. Nigeria Info Abuja. That's on Facebook as well. Twitter, it's at Nigeria Info ABJ. I'll do all to read as many comments as possible as you share them. But do all to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nigeria Info Abuja. Click the little bell up there so you know when we are live, and you can always be part of the conversation. You can also call the WhatsApp line. You can call the studio lines. You can also drop messages to me on WhatsApp. Do all to include your name and your location so that, you know, we have a good time. I'm here up until 7, so we are going to be chilling and talking together up until that time. I've got guests with me right here in the studio, and I've got Bright Okuta, who is a journalist, editor of the Abuja Post, as well as Suleiman Ocheni, who is also a journalist and founder of Cherry Moya Publishing. How's your week going so far? Did you have a good week?
Yeah, sure.
Did you have a good week?
Yeah.
Okay, and Suleiman?
Yeah, it's just started, so I reserve my comment for now.
No, I mean, you know the thing about saying being positive, hoping that things would get better as
You mean like
the hours.
manifesting?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I believe in all of that.
You
So
do not.
I want to, you have to make a room in your life for some not so pleasant things, so that when the pleasant things happen, they're even that much sweeter.
Do you agree with him,
But
Bright?
regardless of that, you need to be optimistic, Like, you need to be optimistic for the coming days.
Okay. All right. Let's jump right into our conversation right now, and we'll start off with what PDP and APC is doing. We still see the meddling, the mudslinging, the name calling. Is election season, and this drama is
To be expected.
It's to be expected. There's no surprise there at all. So PDP calls on NDLEA, EFCC to probe Tinubu. Now remember that Tinubu also did same a couple of, I think last week, wherein he spoke about the Atiku Gate, the hashtag Atiku Gate,
Yes.
while he was vice president of Nigeria. So this is a bit of a response to that. And the People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Organization has called on the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, that is NDLEA, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to arrest and prosecute the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu. Now, the PDP campaign made the call at an ongoing media briefing in Abuja on Sunday. A spokesman for the campaign, Mr. Daniel Bwala, said it was imperative for the NDLEA to wade in by calling Tinubu for questioning over the deal, which led to him forfeiting 460 $100,000 to U.S. authorities. And, the PDP has responded. The APC has responded, to that, stating that Atiku doesn't have integrity and such should not be made to, or should not be made to come into office as the president of Nigeria. So let's get your initial thoughts on this accusations flying around right now. In the time that we have until the elections, it's a few days. It's about 34 days to the elections, and a lot of people are still in between as to who they're going to go for. Based and with this information that has come out right now, in any way change people's mindset as to who they're going to vote for?
I don't think it would change many people's minds. I'm talking about Tinubu's supporters now, because when you look at the global political scene right now, not just Nigeria, things have become so polarized that people pick a candidate and they stick with that candidate, because right now it seems as if people's political choices, it speaks to who they are as a person. So it's basically you're trying to ask them to disown their mother, something like that, because they've chosen this person, they're going to stick with this person. So like how you saw we saw with Donald Trump in America, there was nothing he could do that would dissuade his followers. I think that's how a lot of things are in global politics, and I don't think Nigeria is exempt from that.
Okay, how about you, Bert?
Well, personally, I think at this point in time, one should have made up their mind to...
Let's have you move closer to the mic, please.
There's something this to the election. I think by now, everyone already has a particular candidate that they would vote for. So, despite the whole blitzkrieg being thrown by different political parties, of course, which is expected in a season like this, I think everyone has made up their mind for who to vote for, regardless of the pot of controversy that.
But we're seeing cross-carpeting happening right now. We've seen a board of trustees member, switch to a different party, stating that her conscience, would not let her stay in the party that she is. That's talking about moving from the APC. And right now, we hear that she has had a meeting with Atiku 72 hours after sending in her resignation. So the fact that you say that people have made up their mind as to who they want to vote for, it's possible that based on recent happenings, people would decide to switch to a different candidate who they believe can deliver Nigeria from where she is right now and take it to where a lot of people want it to be, which is in terms of development. And we see a lot of drama going on. I mean, the scarcity is one, electricity is another one. A lot of things are happening at the same time. People are overwhelmed. And the fact that people want a better life, Nigerians want to live a better life, an easy life. They want the basics, right? That's literally what they're asking for right now, amongst other things. So let's get into the character of supporters and how they can switch on you if you're not able to stand by the word which you're giving them while they supported you.
Okay, the issue of supporters. Okay, let me hit on the APC presidential candidate, for example. The drug case and the whole controversy around him has been there for a long time.
Yeah.
I remember, I think in 1999...
Which he hasn't exactly addressed. You would expect that if an accusation were to be thrown at you, you would come out and try to defend yourself.
Yes.
Maybe put out statements. Of course, he's put out statements. But come out and make a statement. Bring out receipts, as it's called. And just try to reassure your followers and those who support you that you are not who they say you are, if indeed that's what it is.
He actually, as a candidate, he really do not care about that. Yeah, let me put it that way. Understand? He really do not care about that. And whether we like it or not, if you're going to be sincere, there are fragments of truth in the controversy about his drugs, even the schools he attended, and the source of his wealth and all. So that's why you don't have a particular disclaimer from him in person.
So there's nothing to prove to anyone. He's just doing what he's doing based on the fact that his followers love him, regardless of what other people say, and they will defend him to the very end.
And also, because he doesn't, there's nothing he can do. Like these allegations, they are fact. It's not that these are rumors in the ether moving around. The American government took out an investigation. He came to some sort of an agreement with them. He made a settlement.
But that was said to be tax. Taking out, not the fact that there was anything found in him, but it was tax.
We don't know the details of that settlement. We don't know that we hear that it's tax, but we know that he was investigated because of. They said that it's not like some other countries where you just turn up with $500 million in $500,000 in your account and no one asks you any questions. So based on how I understand it, based on his income, there was too much money in his account, and he was investigated for that, and it was tied into drug dealing.
No, so saying that the PDP is calling for investigations, right? Do you think anything can be done?
No.
And what difference would it make to the elections?
I think what they're doing, they know that nothing can be done here because these things did not happen in Nigeria. So the country that, if they were to prosecute, would be the United States, because we don't have any allegations of such doings here. So I think this is a political move to draw attention to the fact that this thing exists with Tinubu. I don't think they can expect.
Now on the flip,
okay, let me add to what you said.
Go ahead, please.
To begin with, for a long time now, I've held this position that there is no opposition party. Just before the Labour Party sprung up, there is no opposition party. You get? So if you follow the politics of 2014 and 2015, how they force people like El Rufai, Lai Mohammed, and some other guys put together to kick former President Jonathan out, you discover that the PDP there are not doing a good job at all. So this is something that would have come up since. Of course, this guy had the ambition for a long time. It was very obvious that he wanted to be the vice president to President Buhari. So it was crystal clear that, okay, in 2023, he will probably be the flag bearer. They ought to have started this thing since, not 35 days to election, and then they come up with all these stories.
But
this is Nigeria.
This is how you destabilize a campaign. You don't, because people have very short memory spans. If they had drawn attention to this like 5 months ago, by now most people would have forgotten. So what they're trying to do, I think, is to draw attention to it close to the election date.
So wait until the dying minute and try to swap or switch voters from A to B.
Nothing will be done. Nothing will be done. Now, okay, just like we said earlier about people changing their mind. In Nigeria, they do they induce voters with cash and stuff like that. I can tell you that the ruling party has already structured this method there.
But INEC is saying that they are going to be working with the technology that would ensure that there is no vote buying on election day, wherein parties are made to give an account of every cash that would be spent.
But they've said this. They said this the last election cycle. They said this the election cycle before that.
No, but comparing right now and then, we see that there's been a bit of an improvement as to the way election is going to be carried out. They are putting things in place, logistics, all of the tech going into the new election is to ensure that it is credible. And over again, the INEC chairman has gone on to state that he's going to ensure that elections are not postponed and that it is credible in Nigeria, which is what a lot of people want.
You see, the problem with Nigerian electoral system or Nigerian voting pattern is not even in the urban areas. It's the rural areas. I mean, on Twitter we call it trenches of trenches. So those areas. In 2019, I was in one village in what's it called? Niger State. One remote village. There was no network there. Do you know few persons I met, like they had never seen 200 naira notes, like 200 naira note. They have never held it before. 200 naira note.
The new one or the regular 200 naira note?
That has been in circulation for 20 years.
Now, based off your interaction with them, what was the reason for that?
That place, okay, Nigeria, election materials get to places that, when it comes to development, we know that this place is not developed. Like, it's a completely rural area where it's a primitive area. But when it is time for election, the government try by every means to make sure electoral materials get there, and then after the election, you won't see them again. So the place was very, very underdeveloped. Like, there is no, oh God.
All right, so now on the flip side, Atiku lacks character to be Nigeria's president. That is according to the APC. Now, of course, Atiku's campaign had earlier asked the NDLEA and the EFCC to investigate the APC presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu, for alleged drug trafficking. And Bayo Onanuga, the Director, Media and Publicity of the APC PCC, said this in a statement on Sunday in Abuja. Now, the statement was the council's reaction to the latest call by the PDP on the NDLEA and EFCC to investigate Bola Tinubu. Now, the PDP had also alleged that Mr. Tinubu, a former two-term Lagos State governor, was involved in illegal drug-related business as recently as 2015. So all of this back and forth, and we have seen the cross-carpeting that's going on right now last minute, just like parties are waiting on endorsements for themselves. Would you say that cross-carpeting of party heavyweights would in any way sway voters from, between both parties?
It will, actually, because these heavyweights, they are influential in maybe at what level or their LGAs or so if they cross couple like that, it will most definitely, I think.
Suleiman, do you want to add anything to that?
It will have an effect. I don't want to speak to the extent of that effect, but it will have an effect, but I don't know whether the effect is enough to sway the
Now, speaking about integrity, we know that the G5 have held back on naming a candidate, and Wike was, quoted as saying they would only go for somebody who has integrity. And now seeing that the APC is saying Atiku doesn't have integrity, just this in any way give proof to the fact that the G5 might not be endorsing Atiku. They belong to the same party, but then there's been a bit of a friction over time. Does this give any credit to that? Even though Otom, the governor of Benue State, had stated that it's possible that the G5 would endorse the PDP presidential candidate.
These things, it's political, so they'll have, whether they endorse or don't endorse at the end of the day, it's not going to be because of he doesn't have integrity or he has integrity. I think it's going to boil down to what serves them most. But I just want to say that actually I thought it was quite rich to hear that PDP is calling for Tinubu to be investigated, because their own candidate too has had allegations like this follow him over the years. And he even had, Atiku had the United States government investigating him, but they asked the Nigerian government to turn over evidence, but the government refused. So if the Nigerian government had done that, who knows where Atiku would be today. So I feel like it's interesting that this is the tack that they are using when it can backfire against them if they are not careful.
All right, a couple of days to the elections. We have 32 days, 16 hours, 37 minutes. If you are counting down, well, that's how long we have until the elections. Of course, we can expect to see more drama happening between the parties, the PDP, APC. We've also got LP and, all other parties put together. The NNPP, whose candidate has come out to state that he would not be stepping down for any ailing candidate. I'm not sure who he's throwing a jab at, but that's what he stated. Now, a lot of people are expecting that he would pick a side wherein he's able to convert his votes to that person's votes based on whatever agreement. But he's standing his ground, saying that is not going to happen. So we'll see how things play out. We've got a couple of days left until the election. Today on Hard Facts, on the round table, we are going through the big stories and, of course, getting your thoughts. You can join the conversation. You can watch live on YouTube and Facebook right now. It is Nigeria Info Abuja. Do to follow the YouTube page and drop those comments right now. I take this one from Sean Cornelius. PDP calling on NDLEA to arrest the APC candidate is laughable. I considered it political campaign strategies. Why not fully knowing well that Mr. Tinubu has won a concrete armor of the government. Not sure what you're trying to say there, but we get your thoughts. This is from Ocean Cornelius on the YouTube platform. Let's see what you are saying on Facebook right now. Okay, Humble Prince JP says, good afternoon, you're welcome. It would not work because laws are not working in Nigeria. Okay, that's based off what you mentioned earlier. We'll go on a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll jump into other stories making the rounds on the round table today. Remember, you can send your WhatsApp messages to 080-9993-0137. You can also tweet to us at Nigeria Info ABJ. Do all to follow the handle as well.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
This is Nigeria Info.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
This is Nigeria Info.
For rural communities, we know it's about a few days, about 7 days to the 31st, wherein the old naira notes will cease to be legal tender. Have you in any way, this is a quick question to both of you, have you had any encounter with the with the new naira notes?
At all.
You haven't,
I
right?
haven't. For real, I haven't.
None of them,
I've
not
seen-
200.
I've
no-
seen-
I
I've
have.
seen it.
I
Okay, how?
only yesterday I got 3 500 naira new notes, and that's
Notes.
the first I've
I
seen them.
haven't. In fact, as I was coming down here, I used the POS, but it was still the old notes that they gave to me.
I hear
Okay.
that the ATMs are dispensing the new notes
Okay,
now.
ATM.
Yes.
But some
Okay.
people are still complaining about the ATMs not giving them
Yes, yes, it's
the
true.
new notes. They're still getting the old one, even though CBN has said that they should, giving us the evidence, right? CBN should, as instructed, that they give it back to the banks if they got the
Yes.
old notes. And of course, there will be a fine, a 1 million naira fine for any, daily put on them for those who are still dispensing the old naira notes. But let's see what CBN is doing in the interim about ensuring that a lot of people still get the new naira notes before the old ones cease to be legal tender.
I think
January 31st, hold on a second, January 31st, 2023. Okay, so the Nigerian Central Bank announced the launch of a cash swap program for rural and undeserved areas, which takes effect from Monday, January 23rd. Now, this was disclosed in a circular by the CBN on Friday evening to all deposit money banks, mobile money operators, and super agents. CBN stated that agents shall exchange a maximum of 10,000 naira per person. Now, therein lies the problem. It seems as though if you have 100,000 naira, you might not be able to to give it at once, except you have 10 family members who you would split it and, find a way to get it across. But the reason for this, CBN noted that in furtherance of its naira redesign policy, it has sustained its nationwide awareness program and forced speedy collection of new notes at CBN branches by the deposit money banks, DMBs, and mandated issuance of their new notes through automated teller machines, ATMs, to ensure distribution is fair, transparent, and spread across the country evenly. Now, you're wondering about the financial inclusion. They added the program enables citizens in rural areas or those with limited access to formal financial services to exchange old naira notes for redesigned ones, adding that the initiative takes today, which is Monday, January 23rd, 2023. And in case you missed it, the Central Bank of Nigeria stated that any bank still giving out the old naira for January 31st deadline for the redesign policy will be sanctioned. CBN also warned Nigerians not to receive any naira notes given to them by the CBN. So in all of this, and seeing that it's 1 week to the deadline, and this is when this program is taking effect, how effective would it be in ensuring that those in the rural communities who do not necessarily have access to a bank or the ATMs will be able to do away with the monies that they have in good time, wherein they're not at a loss when the deadline, seeing that so far there is no extension in sight. So it's possible that this is just going to go as it is right now or not. But while we wait on what could happen, with the time frame that we have, how effective would this policy be?
Not very effective, like you said, for people in the rural parts of the country, because it's not. I find that a lot of them in those parts of the country, they don't trust financial institutions like banks. A lot of them keep their money at home. Some of them don't even pay attention to the news. There are still reports of people refusing to accept these new notes because they think they're counterfeit. So I'm thinking about that 80-year-old woman who keeps her money under her mattress in the village. Giving her a week to, travel several kilometers when maybe there's no vehicle
transportation to the next point.
Because I'm thinking about my village now. The closest bank to my village is...
Where's your village?
Kogi State. In my village, the Kenya local government in my village, the closest bank that I know of is in Aingba, which is like an hour drive. So you can imagine asking people who... It's not that they don't like to go to Aingba, because if they had the money and the resources, they would do it often, but they don't have the resources to go. And imagine they go to do that, and then the bank says, we don't have network, we don't have this, come back tomorrow. It's not feasible. I feel like it's counterproductive. Now, you mentioned earlier that the community in Niger State you went to had allegedly never seen the 200 naira note. Okay, how are they supposed to welcome this policy, or how is it supposed to help them? Of what benefit would it be in the 1 week that they have to ensure that they're able to deposit whatever old naira notes that they have in the denominations of 200, 500, and 1,000?
Well, first of all, a lot of people, a lot of Nigerians in rural areas, they are not even aware that the CBN redesigned the currency a lot. So also, many of them, they don't even have 200 naira, more of 500 naira, and they're 1,000. So, okay, for the few ones who probably have, then the cash swap idea is a good one, despite the 10,000 naira limit. But even at that, I don't see the whole thing being feasible, because it's just like a week, and there could be extension, really. There should be extension of the dates.
But if there is an extension, that could go on to defeat the purpose of this redesign.
Yes, most definitely. But at this point, for example, if you go to the bank, I spoke with the banker a few days ago, and I asked that how come I as a person, I have not held the redesign note before. So what's the problem of circulation? So from her explanation, I discovered that the whole thing is like a circle. So you go to the bank to deposit the old cash that you have, and then you still go to the ATM and still withdraw the old cash, or a combination of old and new notes. So she was like, the modalities for circulation into the commercial banks, deposit money banks are not really effective by the Apex Bank. So it is really, really difficult for
But CBN has come out to state that it has enough new naira notes to serve everyone to go around.
Then apparently there's a mix-up, because these people, these bankers claim they are not holding the new cash.
Yes.
That if they have it there, they give it out. So while the CBN, in fact, there is a problem. Actually, there is a problem in the whole thing, from even the CBN governor himself, and the whole system and the whole thing. So there is a serious mix-up, and I see that there is no communication between the Apex Bank and these small banks.
All right, so let's take a few messages right now on the WhatsApp platform. It is 0809993